Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Cyborg with face shield from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Cyborg appeared with his face shield for just a brief scene. This is originally in some of the previews to the film and was cut out in the Whedon cut. This guy's a Walmart exclusive. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse, Cyborg with face shield from 2021's version of Justice League. One side of the package, Cyborg with face shield, Justice League. Other side, Cyborg with face shield. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case that helps anybody. This is unique to the Walmart version of Cyborg with a face shield. On the back side, here's Cyborg posed up, and here are a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. Cyborg here is played by Ray Fisher. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And look at this side of the package. It's a Cyborg, or Cybro G. I can't believe they made an error on the packaging like this. How many people at McFarlane work for the company and look at this before it gets released? They made the same error on the standard Cyborg on at least one side of the package. Kind of ridiculous. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, and then an alternate left-hand attachment. It's a laser cannon. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Cyborg with a face shield or armored helmet. Cyborg's real name is Vic Stone, and he's played by Ray Fisher. Cyborg with a face shield is only in Zack Snyder's Justice League. He's in it for 2, possibly 3 times, very briefly each time. He was in the original Whedon cut of Justice League, but they completely cut out of the final film. You can still see his face shield in some of the trailers though. Funny thing, this guy's a Walmart exclusive. Back in 2017, when Whedon's Justice League came out, they also made a Cyborg with face shield, even though he's cut out of the film, and it was also Walmart exclusive. So let's take a look at the figure. So let's start off by checking out his face shield. As you can see, he's got one red eye, and one eye completely absent. I'm curious what the story behind that is. His head, the sculpting is not that bad, but it's just sort of plain, sort of blah. I really do prefer the regular version of Cyborg to this one, but it's nice to have them both. Going further down, he's got these really soft shoulder pads. They're going to move out of the way. They won't obstruct the articulation. And look at the sculpting detail under there. The sculpting detail is amazing on his neck, just all over him. His chest has this sort of red on it. In the film, it was glowing. They did a pretty bad job of translating that to action figure form. It looks like a stab in the chest and is bleeding. Not really sure what they could have done. Some glow paint, make it transparent, I don't know. Put a light in there, of course, they don't have the budget for that. He definitely looks like the T-800 Terminator. Looks like single-jointed elbows, single-jointed knees. A little disappointing there, but I do understand they're trying to keep the aesthetic, and this is a very unique type of body. Overall, gorgeous figure, wonderfully sculpted, but I do prefer the regular one, but I'm happy to have this guy for when he's in action. And here he is, broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Here's a closer look at his face shield or helmet. I guess it doesn't look that bad. Like I said before, I would be very curious why his eye looks the way it does. And here's the face in the standard version. I thought they did a great job with Ray Fisher's likeness. And a couple things about this figure before we dig in deeper. The sort of crotch area, or diaper as I've seen it referred to, it's soft. It can go sort of up and down. If you don't have it all the way up, it can look kind of bad. It can have this sort of gap here in the torso area. So just be wary of that when posing and taking pictures. And one other mildly interesting thing, I noticed the head here, it pops off with considerable ease. The peg stays inside the head, and that goes for both versions of Cyborg. Just mildly interesting there. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, has a DC logo at the bottom, He's got one peg for the pickles on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, here's Cyborg posed up from the film. The card is in black and white. Cyborg with face shield from Justice League. On the back, there's a description. If you want to read it, go ahead and pause now. Here's this Cyborg's collector's card next to the original Cyborg's collector's card. I definitely prefer the color version, and I'm a little surprised they didn't include a picture of him with a face shield on. Now let's look at his alternate left arm. This is a laser or cannon attachment. Detailing pretty nice, especially at the front there. Look at the blue, look at all the different layers. You can see the actual cannon part at the front. Looks very nice, connects to his arm through the peg, swappable. Here's his alternate hand, next to the alternate hand that came with the regular Cyborg. They appear to be identical. Now I have two of these figures, I've got two extra attachments, and I'm very disappointed that only one of his arms can swap. I wish you could put it on either his right arm or left arm. That way if you wanted to, you could put both the cannons on there. He actually does use both of them in the final fight of the film for a brief period of time. And here it is next to the Mattel version of the attachment from the 2017 release. Very pathetic compared to the McFarlane version. Here's the attachment that came with the McFarlane animated Teen Titans version of Cyborg. And then the attachment that came with the Mattel DC Universe Classics original 80s Teen Titans Cyborg. Here's Cyborg with his regular arms on. Then with his alternate arm attached. And here's Cyborg posed up, aiming above him. I would love to mod him to be able to use both hand cannons at the same time, but I'm really not seeing how that's possible. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's sitting at about 7.4 inches tall, which is going to translate to a hair under 19 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down about that far. Pretty impressive. Between that and his torso, should allow you to get a nice flight pose out of this guy. Shoulders on a ball joint goes out way more than 90 degrees. Notice the shoulder pad's soft, goes right over his shoulder, doesn't obstruct anything. Up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have that signature butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest, increasing that range of motion there. Bicep cut below that. Single jointed elbows, about a 90-degree bend. His wrist here, it can rotate and it's going to be hinged as well. Double ball joints in his torso area. Rotate around, go forward and back. Another one is waist, rotate around, go forward and back. Giving him a very nice range of motion in his torso. Legs, pretty much complete as a splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is definitely improving with McFarlane figures. Legs go forward about that far. Back, not too much. Single jointed knees below that. Then his ankle here goes forward and back. You can hear it sort of clicking into place. It can tilt and rock, and there is toe articulation. Now let's look at the reuse or differences between the face shield version and the standard version. Now they are 100% the same except for the head. Although if you look at my two guys, the paint job on the red in his chest is a lot more prominent on the regular version than the helmeted version. Beyond that, they are truly identical. And another quick look at both their faces. Here's Cyborg flying through the city, testing some of his new abilities, and flying around between rooftops. Our heroes take the Nightcrawler down into the tunnels. They're looking for Steppenwolf and his parademons. Steppenwolf here is interrogating these scientists and this janitor. He has the scent of the mother box on him. Our heroes look down from above. The Flash says, "Boy, I really miss Superman right now." Cyborg's dad interrupts, and Steppenwolf can smell the mother box on him. Cyborg is the first to go in and save his dad. Cyborg swoops down to save his dad, and the parademons get ready to shoot him. Wonder Woman drops down to save the day. And as Steppenwolf sees what's happening, Amazon! He challenges Wonder Woman to a fight. Then Batman and Flash end up coming down to join the fight. Flash pushing away the parademon. Batman tells Flash and Cyborg, just get these people out of here. Meanwhile, Wonder Woman is taking on Steppenwolf up top. And as things start to get hairy again, Batman calls for Alfred. Alfred, I need the Nightcrawler. Of course, Alfred's here in the Batcave at the Batcomputer, diligently complies. And after a little while, Cyborg ends up taking over the Nightcrawler, firing a missile at Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf simply grabs the missile and lets it go into the ceiling. Then he boom tubes out of there. The Flash asks, what are we under? Gotham Harbor. And just when Gotham Harbor is about to flood the tunnels, Aquaman comes in and buys him a little bit of time to escape. And as our heroes are riding on the Nightcrawler, Cyborg's controlling it and getting them out of the tunnels. And then, almost as if Cyborg forgot he left the oven on at home, he jumps out of the Nightcrawler and apparently abandons the heroes. Cyborg ends up taking off and retrieving the mother box of men. Now let's check him out next to some other action figures, starting off with his Mattel DC Multiverse counterpart. Here he is, next to the Mattel DC Multiverse Cyborg with face shield. I mean, look at these guys. That Mattel one is so bad compared to the McFarlane one, and they cost the same amount. They are both $20. The Cyborg figure from McFarlane, the detail's better, the articulation's better, the accessory is better, the likeness is better, absolutely everything is better, the value is better. I mean, look at this. Get the fuck out of here. Now let's check him out next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is with the standard version of Cyborg. Like I said before, I thought the likeness to Ray Fisher was excellent. And here he is next to Batman and Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Then, with all the various hero figures from this Justice League wave, add Wonder Woman 1984 to the mix and you've pretty much got the entire lineup. Here are all the figures I have from McFarlane's Zack Snyder Justice League collection, and there's still some more hunting to do. I still need to get the Platinum Chase variant Batman with the goggles up, the Unmasked Batman, the Red and Blue Superman, the Armored Darkseid, and the upcoming New York Comic Con exclusive Speed Force Flash. Replace Darkseid with Wonder Woman, and we can compare with their Mattel counterparts. Mattel didn't make Darkseid because simply he wasn't in the Whedon cut in any way, shape, or form. And here are their Mattel counterparts. I've always said, Zack Snyder's Justice League is superior to Whedon's Justice League, just like the McFarlane DC Multiverse figures are superior to the Mattel DC Multiverse figures. And here are all the different Cyborg figures McFarlane has made in their DC Multiverse collection. We've got a live-action Cyborg, an animated Cyborg. It's only a matter of time before they give us a comic Cyborg. Then, next to Green Arrow, the only other live-action figure that's not from the DC Cinematic Universe. And here's my entire collection of McFarlane DC Multiverse figures, including all the variants. I've got a total of 86 figures in 2 vehicles, and I'm not even fully caught up. Now let's check him out next to some other Cyborg figures. Here he is, with all the McFarlane DC Multiverse Cyborg figures. Then, next to a DC Direct comic Cyborg figure. And here he is, next to my Mattel Cyborg figures. Here's my entire 6 and 7 inch Cyborg action figure collection. Here he is, next to some other Cyborg figures. These are some figures from Cyberpunk, 2077, and RoboCop. These are all humans that are enhanced with robot parts. Then, next to a couple of NECA T-800 figures from Terminator, you can see why he said he resembled them to me. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane figures. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jakks Pacific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, next to some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods action figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, next to some Mafex figures, then next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends, and here he is next to some SH Figure Arts action figures, and finally next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, it's a pretty nice figure, but I definitely prefer the regular head Cyborg to this one. This one's for rare circumstances where he's fighting a crazy fight and needs to be armored up. It is a nice figure, the body is an excellent sculpt. His articulation's pretty good. I would have liked double jointed elbows and knees, but I do kind of understand the visual decision not to do that. His accessory's good, but I wish both of his hands were removable. If I were to rate this figure, I'm probably going to give him a 6.5 out of 10. I'm just not going to be enjoying this figure nearly as much as the regular version. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.